One of the most famous speeches of the 20th century was given by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on August 28, 1963. Thousands of people gathered at the Mall of Washington, D.C. in sweltering heat to support the Civil Rights Movement. His speech was called Normalcy No More. It was a new speech. One of King's advisors, a man named Wyatt Walker, told Dr. King, "Don't use the lines about 'I have a dream.' It's trite, it's cliche. You've used it too many times." It was Dr. King's intention to follow that advice. Dr. King was 16th in the program, and in the shadow of the Lincoln movement, King paid homage to Lincoln and made references to Shakespeare in his prepared text. But it wasn't until he quoted from the Bible that the crowd really came alive. With the voice of a preacher, King proclaimed, "One day justice will roll like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream." He was quoting from Amos 5, verse 24. The crowd began to erupt in applause. King was winding up what would have been a well-received, by his standards, fairly unremarkable ovation. Go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to South Carolina, go back to Georgia, go back to Louisiana, he said. Then, behind him, Mahalia Jackson cried out, "Tell him about the dream, Martin. Tell him about your dream." Then King grabbed his podium and set his prepared text to his left. Clarence Jones, who was on stage with King that day, said, "When he was reading from his text, he stood like a lecturer. But from the moment he set that text aside, he took the stance of a Baptist preacher." Clarence Jones turned to a person standing next to him and said, "These people don't know it, but they're about to go to church." And Martin Luther King Jr. told us about his dream. It was a God-sized dream. Do you understand that his dream wasn't a secular dream? It wasn't a political dream. Dr. King's dream was inspired by the Christ he followed. It was born out of Scripture. It was a dream that black kids and white kids could hold hands together and live as brothers and sisters. It was a dream that people would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. It was a dream that God birthed in the heart of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As we honor this great preacher, this great American, may we too have courage to dream God-sized dreams for glory, for God, and for our good.